So one thing that's special about the Caymans is that you can get lots of different species of hamlet here. So that's mainly what we're going to be looking for today, different species of hamlet. There's one called the masked hamlet that you can find here that's pretty uncommon elsewhere, but you can find it here. There's also shy hamlet, indigo hamlet, which I've shown you before, and of course barred hamlet, black hamlet, and butter hamlet. And as always, we'll be on the lookout for grouper and interesting wrasses and anything else that we can see that looks interesting or unique or beautiful. I mean, it's all beautiful, but we'll see what we can show you today. Grand Cayman is quite a bit unlike Cozumel in that the reefs are actually quite a bit closer to shore. And there's pretty much no current at them, at least at the ones that we dove on. And they were composed really of these huge coral spar formations. These are what are called spar and groove reefs, and there were these really deep grooves and sand channels between these really craggy outcroppings of boulder corals and other species, like you can see here. And both of these habitats can be quite good for a variety of different kinds of fish. There's a nice adult terminal phase stoplight parrotfish there. And here's one of those sand channels I was talking about, and you can see it sort of surrounded by these big mounds of coral. One thing that can be good is checking the peripheral habitat, like where the sand channels just sort of meet the coral heads, and those can be good places to see stuff. Here's one of the more open sand areas. This is, I think, actually a little bit beyond the reef, but there were still fish there. And again, like in Roatan, there were these brown garden eels, tons of them. You can just see them in the distance there. Now, pretty quickly we came across our first hamlet, which was actually a new one for me, the shy hamlet. You can see just swimming around there, mostly a dark body with bright yellow fins. And yeah, I'd never seen one of those before, but we came across that pretty quickly on our first of the two dives. So that was a nice treat. But it certainly wouldn't be the last hamlet we would see. There were plenty more coming up. We found this barred hamlet shortly afterwards. That was a pretty young one. And we did see some more after this. I would say that was probably the most common hamlet in the area. Now here, this is interesting. This is a tobacco fish. You can just sort of see it there. It's quite small, but it's a very cool member of the sea bass family. And that was just outside a coral sort of cave here that you can see us going into. That's the guide there leading us in. And you can see it's pretty dark in there, but there was this big open space inside of this coral cave. And one fish that likes to hang out in these coral caves is the Atlantic tarpon. And we did see one of them. You'll see one of these tarpon in a second. And these fish are just really huge and really impressive. Oftentimes I've been diving and I've mistaken them for sharks or something else like that because they're just so impressively huge. Well, that was a sea squirt there, a tunicate, and that actually turned out to be kind of an interesting one. I think that one turned out to be a rare one, actually. Here's a glass eye snapper. Interesting thing about that, it's not actually a snapper, it's more closely related to the short big eye. And here, there's the Atlantic tarpon there, just swimming past. They're quite docile, actually. It's not something that's ever going to hurt you. I'm just checking very carefully in these caves for small fish that like to be in the dark, that prefer dark areas. There's a view upward. You can really see the sort of craggy nature of these underwater caves or swim-throughs. And like I said in my video for Cozumel, we did a lot more of these swim-throughs on this trip, and we definitely did quite a few of them at Grand Cayman. So that was something new for me, and it was pretty impressive. There's a lionfish there. Yeah, they're really spread everywhere in the Caribbean. But yeah, this gives you more of a bit of a detail of these swim-throughs. That was probably one of the tightest ones we did. Now there's a black hamlet, our third species of hamlet for this dive. There was one particular area where I was finding quite a few of them. I think I saw 3 or 4 in the end. So that was pretty cool. Black hamlets are always nice to see. They're really kind of elegant. But that was our third hamlet species of that dive. And this here is the spotted trunkfish, which is the somewhat rarer cousin of the smooth trunkfish. I see it a lot less often. Oh, but wait, what's this? This is what we were looking for. This was my main target. But as you can see, it disappeared on me. So I was frantically looking for this thing, and I was trying to get people to come help me look for it. But I retraced my steps a little bit, and I found it again. Thank goodness I did. I found it again. That's the masked hamlet, otherwise known as the ghost hamlet, which is sort of a specialty of Grand Cayman. It's one of the only places you can actually find it. What a cool fish! What an amazing looking hamlet. So that was a real treat. I was really happy to see that. I wasn't really expecting it because they're pretty rare, but that was really amazing. I was really happy with that. Another barred hamlet. That one almost looked like an indigo, but it's a barred. That one there too. Pretty nice. So after I saw the masked hamlet, I relaxed a little bit. I sort of started paying attention to the really shallower areas of the reef, like where these Creole wrasse were. Those are really nice fish. And there was this nice school of Atlantic blue tang there. Really amazing. Managed to swim right through them. But yeah, I relaxed a little bit, and I was able to sort of appreciate some of the smaller things, like this gaudy clown crab. What an amazing looking crab. And also this lettuce sea slug, which looked like a piece of algae at first, but it's actually a sea slug. And these Caribbean Christmas tree worms here. I mean, since it was December 24th, I suppose I was feeling a little bit festive. So those were nice to see. Those are always really impressive. They're kind of like those things in Avatar, in that one scene where he sort of goes around and touches the things and they retract. They're kind of like the real world version of that. But that was about it for those 2 dives. I was really happy with that. Grand Cayman, I was quite impressed with how accessible the reefs were, how close to shore they were, how little current there was. It felt very comfortable there, and I quite enjoyed my dives there. So it's a place I definitely like to go back to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this dive with me. I'll see you in the next video.